Hey everybody, I just wanted to say I think that the women and the females, the ladies, whatever you would like to call yourself, y'all, we've got to have a reset of our brains. I remember when all of this stuff started. I am Gen X. I was born in 1972. I saw this beginning with my mother's generation, and really as far back as her mother's generation, that women need to work. We need to be out in the workplace. We need to be providing money so that we can have better things, better houses, 2 cars instead of 1, where the man is not in control of the household. The woman is equally in control financially and things of that nature. And all of that is fine and wonderful. Okay, I was a feminist in the 80s and 90s. And I was going to become a police officer, and I literally, through an act of God, I am not a police officer, or did not become one. I did work, and I also got married, and I also had children, and I was the main breadwinner of the house, and all of these things, and I managed to pull it off, but it literally almost killed me. I can no longer work. I got really, really bad sick. Luckily my boys are functional, active, healthy adults. They did have a good father. We had different religious based ideas, but that's a whole nother story. But this thought that that we're just as equal and we're just as good and we can do everything that they can do is a lie. We were put on this earth to produce life with men, and that life is to produce other life and more life, and so on and so on. That is the history of the world, and they have hidden all of these gigantic parts of history from us because they don't want us to focus on the true role of the men in our lives, and how we would be nothing but literal sexual slave objects in other religions had it not have been for men of faith and men of God who fought for the women and themselves and their children in order for us to be here today. And when you refuse to recognize that or talk about it anymore, we weren't even taught this stuff. I have been brought up in the church. I was baptized there, I was in councils, went to camp, youth groups. I was heavily indoctrinated in the Methodist Church. They never ever taught us the true history of the Old Testament and everything that happened, for example, like the Crusades. And they're trying to tell us nowadays that the Crusades were a genocide. And that's not true. The Christian men rose up and fought against us being raped, pillaged, and annihilated completely. I wouldn't be doing this video right now if it wasn't for Christian men, big, giant, brave men. Okay? We cannot do the same things that they can. We cannot. We are biologically not built that way. Now, you may have a one-off situation where you've got a Joan of Arc or a G.I. Jane or whatever you want to call it, and that's normal. That is the way the world is. But women do not need to be on the front lines of our military, carrying rifles and 100-pound backpacks. We do not need to be police officers on the front lines running after getting into encounters with men that weigh 280 pounds and are 6'5". You will lose. And you need to accept that. Part of grace as a woman is accepting your limitations as to what you can do physically, mentally, spiritually, and otherwise. Okay? So this thought that we can do whatever we want, we can do any job that we want to do is false. Okay? We need to stop preaching it. There's a reason why God didn't put women in those types of positions historically. No one has. And to be honest with you, since we have implemented this, everything is falling apart. And you know what I'm talking about. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, then you need to do some studying, okay? This is not a video against women or a pro video for men. But yes, I recognize and appreciate the brave men in this world, all over the world, that fight for what they believe in, that they feel like they are sent here to do their job, which is to protect us so that they can create life with us. Okay? That's the way the universe works, ladies. And we're going to have a major reset with this. This stuff has to stop. Okay? Thank you for your attention to this matter.